So there were reports that there's a holdup between the Bulls and the Denver Nuggets trade because of Zeke Nnaji's awful contract. So we're going to dissect, is the Nuggets really the best trade partner for the Bulls? We'll talk about it.
This is your home for all things Chicago Bulls. Join the conversation. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So it captured the NBA by storm when the Nuggets, reportedly were trying to acquire Zach LaVine. And of course, because of Zach LaVine's contract, Michael Porter Jr. has to be involved. The salaries just needs to match. But there's also reports that the holdup was that the Bulls refusing to take on Zeke Nnaji's contract, which is $32 million for the next 4 years. Zeke Nnaji, if you guys are not familiar, is averaging 1.7 points per game this year. Maybe it's 1.8. I don't know. But it's not the 8 million. It's the length of the contract because it is 4 years. So Zach LaVine wouldn't be in the Bulls, and Zeke Nnaji is still going to be with the Bulls. If had we not traded Zach LaVine, we're only have to, deal with Zach for 2 more years now. We're going to have to deal with Zeke Nnaji for 1 extra year. And, this is not, let's put it this way. He makes way more than Carter at this point and last longer. Carter's going to be gone. Even if he picks up his option, next year will be his last year. You're going to have to deal with Nnaji for a long time. So with that being said, I understand why the Chicago Bulls would kind of, say no to that. Again, it's 32 million tied up for the next 4 years. Those are the type of contracts where you need to attach a pick to get rid of it. That is still a big commitment because it's 4 years. So I understand the hesitation for that. But even without Zeke Nnaji, right? Without him, maybe it's more palatable. But it feels like if you could get a better deal, you do get it. Because it feels like you're swapping Zach LaVine's bad contract to Michael Porter Jr.'s bad contract. Now, it feels like Michael Porter is a lot easier to move. Make no mistake, Michael Porter is a nice young piece to a contending team, but not for somebody like the Bulls. He's not a centerpiece for any young rebuilding team. He's a nice piece for a contending team. He's exactly where he's at now. And to think that they're shopping him just tells you more. Jamal Murray just fall off. I don't know. He's having a bad season. And Michael Porter, he can score 34 one night and score 9 the next. So he's not the most consistent second scorer that you want if you're a contending team. He's a good third option, not to step in when your second option is struggling. So I understand from the Nuggets standpoint why they want to acquire LaVine, because LaVine is easy 14, 15 on a bad night, right? Like if he's struggling, the defense is skiing on him. But as far for the Bulls, it would be hard. I don't know, maybe not, because he's only 35 million. But I feel like in the final year he's gonna make 40. Is that really going to be easy to move? Well, in the final year, he's expiring, so I guess that's some incentive to it. But if you want to flip him to a first, is it easier to flip him or just trade in Zach for expiring? Because if you're the Bulls, what you want to do is free up cap space. Not necessarily to sign stars, because I don't think there's any stars to be signed, but to absorb bad contracts, for example, like him, and then get assets in return. Because normally, if you are an over the luxury tax team or a second apron team, and if you want to make some moves, dump in bad contracts, you're going to have to attach assets to dump those bad contracts. I'm not saying that he's exactly bad contract, but he is handicapping a team like the Nuggets to make some moves because he is tied up. So that's where you want to be in a position with if you're the Bulls. You want expiring. But by acquiring Michael Porter, he's not an expiring. He's expiring the same exact time that Zach is. You're just hoping is the key word here, that you could trade him easily, like trade him a bit more with ease than Zach LaVine. But now that Zach LaVine's playing a lot better, could we perhaps just, get an expiring rather than Michael Porter? Like for me, if you're attaching Zeke Nnaji, because you have to make the deal work. We have to be compensated for that. Meaning the Bulls needs to get at a minimum 2 second rounders. Because Nnaji is not expired. You got him for 4 years. 4. 1 second rounder is not enough to deal with Nnaji for 4 years. Because think of it this way. If you want to get rid of Nnaji, we probably have to attach 2 second rounders. So at a minimum, you need to have a second rounder. But if you can get a trade partner, for example, like I'd even go for the Lakers trade. Getting D'Lo's expiring and maybe Rui with 1 more year left. I don't know. I think it's easier to trade Rui for an expiring than to trade Michael Porter. Because trading 20 to 35 is a lot better. And then just let D'Lo walk. And I'm talking about D'Lo and Rui without any picks. Trade Rui and D'Lo straight up for Zach LaVine. For me, maybe you have to attach 1 more. Maybe, I don't know, Jalen Hood-Schifino or whoever that the Lakers, as long as he's expiring, I think that deal is better for the Bulls because they can get X amount of expiring rather than taking on Michael Porter. Talent-wise, of course, Porter is a better player, but we're not looking for a better player right now. We're looking to get assets. And I think an expiring is a bigger asset for the Bulls at this stage than a young player like Michael Porter, who has, in my opinion, very little upside to this point. He's 26 years old, back issues. I think at this point, he is what he is. He's a third option to a good team. It'll be a first option for the Bulls, but would be worse than Zach LaVine. Let's just put it this way. Talent-wise, I think Zach LaVine is a more talented player. And if he can't elevate the Bulls, I don't think Michael Porter can. It's just my opinion. So in this juncture, I would take an expiring more than him. But let me know in the comments down below, how do you think this trade would work out? Who do you want to see in the Bulls? Do you want to see expiring young players? Let's be realistic with Zach. I don't think we're going to get both, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.